The other thing I wanted to raise your attention to is the Food Safety Modernization Act. And some of you might be aware of that regulation or this new cohort of regulations that came out in 2011. And this slide here is just kind of showing the whole umbrella of different regulations within there. And well, I believe you've talked about the produce safety rule in past sessions within the series. I wanted to just kind of give a quick shout out to a fairly new regulation known as the Preventive Controls Rule for Human Food. And this one is particularly an important rule for processors that fall under this. So basically, it's if you didn't have certain food safety plan requirements before, you now have them under this rule. So to kind of illustrate this a little bit further, you might have heard of the term HACCP, which stands for Hazard Analysis of Critical Control Points. And basically, it's a strategy, it's a written food safety plan that helps us localize where the biggest hazards are in processing this food and finding some sort of controls to make sure that we can produce a safe food. And with recent legislation, as I had mentioned, now any food that didn't fall into that category now falls into this one here of the preventive controls rule. And so, while I think a lot of small businesses might not be aware of this rule, I think it's really important to be aware of it now, because while there's exemptions, and I'll explain what those exemptions are in a moment, some of your product development decisions can or will influence the safety of the food and could be influenced by the quality, right? So these decisions about food safety could impact quality decisions. So for example, if I wanted to make a milk-based product and I wanted to use a low temperature for a long time compared to a high temperature for a short time, that flavor that I might have in milk could taste very different. And they both act as a heat treatment to inactivate pathogens or organisms that could cause public health threat, but the qualities could be different. So I think it's always really important as we're thinking about establishing a new food product or building a new value-added pipeline to be understanding what your food safety risks are